Hey guys, I'm here with Josh Wintz, or Joshua Wintz, I should say. Joshua is a practitioner that I discovered through Gary V. There was an Instagram video that floated through my feed where Gary was talking about soft tissue stuff, two of my core interests in entrepreneurship. I'm again Robert with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast, Joshua Wintz, and Josh. Thank you so much for coming on the program. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your social media platforms so people can follow you, and then find out a little bit about how you got involved with bodywork.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me on here. Again, I'm Josh Wentz. You can call me Josh. That's okay. Uh, a lot of people do. So just my parents kind of call me Joshua for the most part. Yeah, so you guys can find me on Instagram at Josh Wintz, Wintz. And then LinkedIn, Twitter. You guys can find me at Joshua Wintz as well. Twitter, I believe, is Josh Wintz as well. My company that I started back in 2017 doing body work, and then officially this last December started the Wellness Habit, which is what my company is titled right now. So I dealt with a ton of shoulder pain playing baseball growing up and couldn't really find anything that was helping with that. Eventually a family friend that's a chiropractor recommended I go see this guy named John that does body work, and I was like, might as well try. I feel like I've tried every other thing under the sun, and from chiropractors, massage therapists, sports chiropractors, and couldn't really get the needle moving along as far as I wanted it to. I was taking 4 to 5 ibuprofen before every game. Yeah, so which is not as especially as a junior in high school.
Yeah.
So saw him for a while, and then back in January of 2017, I did a one-on-one training with him, and have been working on people ever since. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the shoulder joint, I have students sometimes who are asking for, they're asking for specific protocols related to different problem areas. And then they're like, we need shoulder. And I'm like, ooh, that's going to be like a 30-hour course. And they're like, what? I'm like, dude, it's the most complex joint. Like, it's got this.
It has the most mobility. It has the most mobility in the body. So
like covering,
which means it's going to have the most issues.
Yeah, the soft tissue around it, like pitchers. Oh man, I can't. Yeah. I haven't worked on a lot of professional pitchers. I can't even imagine working on their shoulder joints and then trying to deal with their level of athletic performance and the strain that they're putting on it. Yeah.
It really helps to break down and do some muscle, which is what separates me from anyone else that I've found, and which is the way I was trained under, is doing muscle testing and range of motion.
Yeah.
So moving that arm into a range of motion and testing it, and if it works, it works. I kind of the guy I trained under calls it taking roll call. So you're figuring out which muscles are showing up to that movement and which ones aren't. So it really helps you break down. So if I'm doing a lateral movement and my arm is shaking on its way out, I mean, that tells you right away, here's maybe 2 or 3 muscles that aren't working in that movement. Same with doing external rotation and anything like that. It narrows it down immediately versus me just telling you, hey, the front of my shoulder hurts. Hey, the back of my shoulder hurts. There's about 6 to 10 different things each time I tell you something in my shoulder hurts. So really narrowing it down to actually the movement and figuring out range of motion too. Can I bring my arm up all the way over my head, or is my rib cage coming up because my lat's so tight? And there's a ton of different things that you can find out from range of motion and muscle testing that people just don't do, which essentially is like driving blind.
Yeah.
I mean, if I told you to drive 60 miles an hour and then covered you up with a blindfold, it's going to be a lot harder to do than if I let you look at it and you can tell exactly what's going on.
Yeah, one of the discussions I have with colleagues sometimes is they'll look at my work, and I do a lot of soft tissue techniques, but I don't do a huge amount of assessment and correctives. It's not that there's none, but it's not as strong. It's more manual therapy. And I've gotten really good at this, but there are still weak spots in my curriculum where I'm trying to learn, trying to figure stuff out. It's really interesting because I've told students repeatedly that I think it's best for them to do what you've done, which is you take the problem you have and become an expert on it. And then after you become an expert on that, it's like it's easier to understand like the hip joint or other joints because there's similarities. techniques. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to be better at what you've had experience at, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. And I really work to get to the root of the problem. So that's always the issue I've had with PTs, massage therapists, chiropractors, kind of anybody under the sun, not as a whole. So this is not targeting any specific individual or anything, but as a whole, what I've seen in my years of sports and years of working as or training as an athletic trainer is that everyone's looking at the problem. So my shoulder hurts, and less people, and here's some exercises that I can do possibly to strengthen it, but people aren't looking back at why is that people aren't asking that question as much as they should be. People aren't asking the question of why. Yeah.
Once you start digging, man, it gets political real fast.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are arguing about theory, and even I'm still trying to, because I do a lot of manual therapy, a lot of soft tissue techniques, but the students are sometimes asking why. And sometimes it's just, when I say assessment, it's just me talking with the client, finding out how they're using their body. And I have a good knack at finding tissue that they're having issues with, and they're having a cessation of their symptoms. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it doesn't feel, even to me, you know, having worked for 18 years, it doesn't feel complete. Like I'm still learning. And the thing is, in the end, it's always like, I have to say something succinct that sounds like me being a smart ass. Like, well, it's their nervous system, which, it is. But, you know, why is it going haywire? Like, why are people having, you know, particular pain patterns? And studying like cutaneous and subcutaneous nerves and trying to understand that, so that I feel like I'm sort of like doing it in a gross way, but I'm still trying to find enough specificity to be able to explain it to students succinctly in a way that I think holds up to scientific scrutiny.
Yeah. That's a good train of thought for that. What I, surprisingly, as different as we are as humans, we struggle a lot with the same issues. In our core, our bodies are, I don't even know the percentage on it, but they're very similar in how it moves, how it functions. Obviously, if you took away people's faces and things, you wouldn't be able to tell any difference in anatomy, really, besides size, gender, that type of thing. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, and we are doing a lot of the same repetitive motions, sitting at a desk in front of a computer, looking down at our phones, and all of these things, our life happens in front of us. And so a lot of the things, especially with shoulder or posture in general, is that we're all rolled forward. Our shoulders are rolled forward, which means our pecs are tight and our back is not strong enough, or our back muscles aren't firing correctly, which is not necessarily because our back muscles aren't strong enough, but it's because of years of rolling our forward. And all of these muscles now are shortened and they get tightened because the body's just like, I might as well just leave it in that position because I've been there so long. So a lot of that is like posture is 100%. If people, everyone is going to have pain unless you have perfect posture at all times. That when your body is out of posture, when it is out of perfect posture, your body is susceptible to injury, pain, all these different types of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'll explain it to people. Let's say they do have shoulder pain. I'll explain it to people often where it's like the alignment on their car. So if the alignment on your car is off and the wheels turn, the wheels will like rub, but kind of raw. The tires, they'll start to go flat and things like that because the alignment on the car isn't lining up. And I try to explain to them the same thing happens with a joint as a physical structure. Mm-hmm. If the joint is just jammed in and it's starting to rub, there's more friction, there's going to be more wear, you're more likely to wind up with some sort of pain issue. And then it's dealing with the soft tissue around it. Normally what I try to tell clients is, I'm like, listen, your shoulder feels better just because I soften the muscles around it so that the joint feels like it's more like it sits at neutral. That's all. Yep. Very simple. But trying to explain it in that scientific scrutiny, because I could say that somebody could watch this and write me hate mail and say, that is not exactly, that's not how.
Yeah, then that's their, like you're explaining it for the masses to understand it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's that's fine. They
Good
can email
enough.
me, and if they
Well,
want to, if they feel like taking the time out of their day in order to email me and tell me that, hey, you're not exactly scientifically correct, but my
yeah.
analogy worked 100%, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the way I usually kind of look at, especially like the shoulder, is there's so much coming into it that I explain it, especially for a sports analogy, like an offensive line. So if you have 5 offensive linemen and one of them is only at 85%, maybe tweaked his hamstring or something, who knows what it is, but he's at 85%. Those other linemen on the line have to make up and help protect the quarterback just as much as they were before.
Yeah.
So they're going to get tired quicker throughout the game because they're having to do more work than they were typically used to. And as a whole, after a while, that line as a whole is going to suffer from that. Just as in the body, if there's a muscle that's being overstretched, or we tweak it doing a certain movement because we're out of posture, whatever it is, that muscle is not working as well as it should. And so all the other muscles around that joint have to work extra hard in order for that joint to stay stable.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I explain it a lot, or like look at it, I guess.
Yeah. And in the end, what I find when I try to explain to therapists is most times, other than giving a simple explanation, the clients just want to know if you can help them with pain. Can you help them with the issue they came in with? You could almost make up a story.
Yeah.
It's like, I went onto the astral plane, communicated with the gods, and now your shoulder's better. But if you can actually help them and you can do it consistently, I can work on the scientific explanation. I can work on digging through and combing through the research and trying to find out more. I feel like the bodywork practice, much like probably like personal training or martial arts, I feel like it's this ongoing developing practice. It's never done. Yeah.
No. So at the end of each session, what I do to separate myself from massage therapists, chiropractors, PTs, is I assign my clients, whether they do them or not, 2 or 3 things to work on until the next time that I see them, so that we're not falling back to the exact same spot as to like where we started that session. So what happens typically is I hear this all the time from people. I went and saw a chiropractor. I went and saw a massage therapist. It was awesome. I felt great for a couple of days, and then I felt right the same that I did when I went in the first place.
Yeah.
So my goal is eventually to keep moving you along a line towards, hey, this is where I want to be. This is my end goal. And I'm hoping to move you, and that's what I'm working to do, is move you towards that, give you the exercises, give you the posture in order to be able to sit here and stay there. Maybe we have to do adjustments every once in a while, but get you always back to that spot that you're looking to be at with your health and wellness. So.
Yeah, the strengthening component is where things start to get a little bit more murky for me. As a licensed massage therapist, you'll get lots of like scope of practice issues about what they're calling prescriptive exercise. And I should have been a lawyer, because I always go back to, well, what is prescriptive exercise? Like, because they're saying, well, massage is soft tissue manipulation. And I'm like, what is the definition of the manipulation of soft tissue? Like, you get into these murky things because people would ask, like I had a Canadian massage therapist, and in Canada, they have very high levels of education. They're going to 2,000, sometimes 3,000, I think, hours of schooling just to have a massage license and be able to bill insurance in Canada. And they said, can massage therapists give prescriptive exercise? And I said, it doesn't matter. I'm a yoga teacher. And they just lost their mind, because I'm like, well, am I a massage therapist or am I a yoga teacher? It depends on like what I'm doing at that moment. Like,
are you talking about like actually writing a prescription of exercises?
So no. What I'm saying is I find out something's up with their hamstrings. And then I'm showing them how to do some strengthening or a yoga pose to be able to strengthen their quads, to get their hamstrings to let go in some form or fashion. Again, it's not extremely refined in my curriculum. I'm still learning, but they have a very blocked in sense of like what our scope is. And they're like, I'm not a PT. I can't do that. I'm not a chiro. I can't do that. And I'm like, I mean, I've literally heard massage therapists say massage therapists can't work on joints. And I go, okay, muscles cross every joint in the human body. So how do I affect the muscle
You
without
might
affecting
not
the
be
joint?
able, yeah, you might not be able to manipulate that joint.
Yeah. Well, they think it's like high velocity thrusting, like it's,
Yeah.
osteopathic manipulation. And I'm like, no, 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 no. But like I work on tissue all the time, and then
Yeah.
people's shoulder, they move it and it goes crack, and they're like, oh my God, it feels so much better. And it's just because, again, it feels like
This is the natural movements of the body. I always, whenever that happens, I'm like, oh, there's a free adjustment.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's a weird scene. I think one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because you're in a state that doesn't have massage licensure. So it's like it's a little bit of a, like, for me, it sounds more advanced what you're doing. But the reason that you have a little bit more advancement is you're going for a quick, effective solution instead of going to what the training was. And a lot of the massage therapists I work with, it's like they seem sort of hemmed in. Or, I mean, literally, we're in the middle of COVID. People can't work on clients right now. There are people who are getting angry because they're saying it's not within our scope to teach online, that our insurance wouldn't cover us. And I'm like, you're not doing massage when you're a coach online teaching.
Yeah, you're not touching anybody.
Like, how does that even? But that's the thing. Like, the parameters for what they've been.
You're like a life coach at that point.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, what's the what's the law around being a life coach? And they're like, oh my God, it's like chaos, And I'm like, guys, I've been teaching online for years. Like, I get people from other countries who are studying with me, and I don't ask them in Germany, like, what's their licensure in Germany? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. It's not.
That's their issue, not mine.
So, what are you finding are some of the challenges that you're having, not in COVID, but like pre-COVID or post, as far as like getting clients or like dealing with your business? Like, how has that process been for you?
It was really slow until I got the opportunity to be on with Gary Vee, but up until then, everything was in person. I was doing in-person sessions, and then I was doing one-on-one personal training as well to make a little bit more of a stable income. Acquiring new clients was always, I could keep clients. I've had clients since the start that I've had since 2017. So keeping clients, because my therapy works so well and they see the benefits of it once I start working on them, I'm sure have clients that will have been with me from 2017 until the day I stop doing this. Yeah. So acquiring new clients, 99% probably of my new clients were word of mouth. Yeah. And so it was encouraging people to spread by word of mouth, saying, hey, this is how it's helped me. You should definitely check this guy out. Advertisements didn't seem to work for me really at all, especially because trying to advertise a type of therapy that people have zero idea about.
Yep, that's a big challenge for me.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So I didn't really have any luck with it.
Yeah, Gary Vee completely changed my business, and I've never talked with him personally. It's just watching his videos. And what I realized was I was doing something that was different, but one of the things about what I was teaching was it was mat-based, clothes on. And then at some point it finally dawned on me. I'm like, you could film and photo document everything. Yep. And the ad was not asking for a sale. It was taking out the camera, recording pieces of sessions, recording pieces of trainings, recording, photo documenting, and just bombing. So
document, don't create.
Yeah, that exact thing. That completely screwed up my brain for a couple of weeks. When Gary first said that years ago, I was like, what a document don't, what does that even mean? And once I figured it out, it completely changed the trajectory of my business, because if they were looking for massage, they weren't really looking, I don't think, necessarily for what you and I do.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was a slightly different
because they don't know
service.
about it.
Yeah. And the thing is, half of my job became education. Record what you're doing, show them what you do, show them how you work with pain, show them how you work with mobility.
Yeah, for sure. Which I was starting to do early last week, was my self-care videos. Is like, these are different aspects of like how you can somewhat become pain-free on your own if you put in the work.
Yep.
And so that's what I was starting to do. And then luckily Thursday I was on with Tea with Gary Vee, and that just escalated immensely fast.
It's just if you pump up the exposure, you pump up the reach. Like I've had people where I'm working with them and we're working on business related things, and it's almost like the videographer wants the video to go viral. And I go, hold on, why don't you just give them more value? Why don't we just keep feeding the fans and like get more reach?
Yeah, it's not about, he says it all the time where it's not about followers. It's
you need to funnel these people to a bigger ticket sale. And I'm like, how about we just scale globally? Like we have digital stuff, available. Like, I mean, I have physical DVDs, which sometimes people buy, but there's digital stuff that we sell. Like, why don't we sell in Africa? Europe.
Keep the price the same, but just sell more of it.
Yeah. Especially with digital distribution, which is a very different thing than, actually working with a person one-on-one. But from your angle, for instance, think about recording what you're doing, and then over time developing training materials where you're training the public to work on themselves, you're training therapists to work on the public. You're documenting this stuff and repurposing it to be able to teach your methodology to be able to help people.
That's definitely down the line, and that would definitely be an in-person. Even someone brought up doing a certification process, the wellness habit certification process. So I mean, that's definitely roads that I've thought about, because I've wanted to train people anyways. That's how I was trained, was one-on-one, bring people in, couples, whatever it is, and train a group session one night a week or whatever it is. And then obviously do an online training as well.
The whole thing is
help it scale even that much faster.
You have a very similar problem to me. You have a service which essentially customers in your area could not find, would not know to look for, and is completely not offered in local facilities.
Everyone always asks me from different states, where can I find someone like you?
I get the same question.
Hop on a flight to Minnesota. or even better, if you're from the South, fly me down.
Are you trying to get away from the snow?
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from the snow and the cold. More the cold than the snow, but So they're always like, how do I find? And I don't even know where to start recommending, because
it'll probably get easier as you start like interacting with other practitioners and kind of.
Well, what I'm hoping is that I can create my certification process and be able to come up with an app of, hey, this is the Wellness Habit app. Find a wellness habit practitioner in your area.
I mean, even though
if I get to that, I wouldn't even.
No, that's a different scale.
That's a whole. We're playing in the big leagues then.
Yeah, you just went through certification and a whole host of stuff. Like, if you need help with that, we could talk about it off camera. There's a lot of like, I've worked at.
I'm sure there's a nightmare.
Oh man, it's like it's gotten to the point where I'm a tech worker. I spend more time figuring out software and trying to scale digitally. But even though my work might generally fall within Thai massage, I get people constantly who write me and they go, I'm getting Thai massage locally, but it's not quite what you do. Like, your stuff is, different. And I'm always asking them for feedback, and I'm like, well, how different? And they're like, it's like you break it down to make it fit the practitioner's body. And I go, well, yeah, that's just normal, right? But the thing is, they're still doing routines. They're still doing like little sequences. And I keep teaching.
So like, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, and I'm going to do it every time on every person.
And I teach them a little sequence, and the whole time I teach it, I go, learn this and destroy it. Because then in the end,
have this as a basis, and then every time you get a new customer in,
that's it.
It tweaks, because everyone's body is different.
Little shifts and changes, and
and they're not big ones. Definitely, I mean, that's definitely teeny little shifts.
Just changes when I'm doing soft tissue stuff. For instance, my size, mobility can change the nature of how I do things. So sometimes, occasionally, I have a primarily mat-based work. You have a student who's got problems with their knees, and they need like a slightly different tool. So I can usually find another tool they can use to be able to work on the issue. And they're always like, whoa, there's more than one way to do it. And I go, yeah.
Yeah. Like everything else in the world, pretty much.
But the documentation of that entire process, I'm very long-winded. When you told me, yeah, I got about 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, yeah, we do like 3 hours. Because
I'm
that's how I
sorry.
teach.
You should.
Oh, no, it's fine.
This week alone, my schedule has never in my life looked like this. So I mean, I'm hopping on a call at 2:00.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty back to back.
So you had challenges getting in-person clients. How did being on Gary Vee's show like boost your social media? Did it actually lead to in-person clients locally?
I think I've had a couple people reach out. I had someone that owns some Snap Fitnesses. She wants me to come in
Yeah.
for workshops.
Cool.
So that will be tight. There's a couple people that have reached out. Not a ton so far, but I mean, if I can scale my online business and work on just a couple people in person, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just
And be
interesting
able, I
to
mean,
see.
yeah. I think eventually it will. And I've been so swamped. Gary Vee was like, you need to reach out to 100 pro athletes, and I haven't touched any
Yeah.
because I have 1,000. I probably started with 1,000 plus DMs that I have to try and
Yeah.
get to. So
Are you trying to do that primarily through Instagram?
yeah. Well, I would. It's just where it happened right away, and I've been so swamped just with that I haven't had a chance to even try and get it onto other
Try it out
platforms
on
yet.
Instagram. I'm wondering if you wouldn't have a little bit more success potentially on Twitter. The platforms are a little bit different. I'm
Mhm.
not quite sure. I haven't done as much of that on Instagram. Twitter seems a little more undervalued as far as attention, and it still allows that direct access.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've yeah. I mean, if I've had a killing. I mean, I haven't made a single cent yet, so I can't say that. I mean, but the amount of response and the amount of people reaching out, even just on some of my self-care videos, I have 200 people saving the video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those types of responses are where, if I get 50 likes or if I get 10,000 likes, it doesn't, if I, 200 people saving a video to me and almost 200 sharing that same video to their story or to direct messages to people to
Yep.
check this out, or, hey, I've seen this video, it helped. I'm telling everyone I know, I'm sharing, like that type of stuff is what really, I think makes Instagram, because everyone's on it. I mean, not everybody is on Twitter. I've,
Yeah.
the majority of people in America are on Insta. I mean, I've had people reach out from South America,
Hmm.
Jamaica. I was on a Zoom call the other night with somebody from Jamaica. I've had people reach out from all over the world. So
Yep. And it's the same, it's such an interesting conversation to have with you because I talk to students about this, and there's only a handful who've understood the video production and sort of digital reach I'm thinking of.
mhm.
It's just so interesting to have a conversation with you from your background, and it just verifies some of the things I've been thinking. But to
Yeah,
actually see it on display, and it's like for you to talk about, oh my God, 200 people saved the video. I think massage therapists underestimate the potential that social media marketing has because of its reach. They're always like, well, I can only make money from the person who lives here locally. And I'm like, you think people don't travel?
yeah.
You think they don't have like family,
I've had
colleagues, friends?
I had somebody from Utah that was like, "Oh man, I wish you were out here," and I was like, "Flights are cheap right now," like
Yep.
kind of just kidding. He was like, "Let me get a handful of people together and make it worth your while to come out here," and I was like, "Do it. Let's set
Yeah.
something up, and like, I'll fly out.
Yeah.
I don't care." So I mean, there's so much opportunity once you provide people value online, they're way more receptive to buying a course or
That's
buying
it.
this because stuff already worked for them.
Yep.
And it's not for me to like, if I would do everything I'm doing right now if money wasn't an object. If money,
Yep.
I didn't need to pay for bills and I didn't need food and I didn't need to pay for a housing. I would do everything I'm doing currently for free. And I've already been doing stuff for free. I had that call with the lady in Jamaica. I walked her husband through, hey, here's some different spots that you should be working on for her shoulder.
Yeah.
That's Gary V's investment now that he always talks about, and the Ask Later, and
the value
funeral
proposition.
Yeah.
Educators in my industry, they're like, I don't understand. Like, you're not just filming everything and just giving it away, are you? And I'm like, yeah, why? And they're like, oh my God, like people aren't going to come to your classes if they're learning everything for free online. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're going to watch 30 minutes, decide whether they actually like me, and they may learn stuff online, but they're going to want to come to take class in person. I'm still dealing with body work and massage. Like they're still going to want to get an in-person session or take an in-person class. But the difference is I've got an organic business model and a digital business model feeding each other.
Yeah, I mean, look how much Gary Vee gives away, and I mean, the dude's worth, I don't even know how many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. I mean, he didn't do that just by happenstance. He gave all that free stuff away. People saw the value of just the little information that he gave, and then they want access to the person creating that information because that's the person that knows what they're talking about.
The emotional connection and resonance.
Yeah.
The body work
putting it to a person in an actual like face.
Yep.
Versus this the online course.
The connection that we form via touch with people is very intimate. They have to trust us. Engage. What I did as a guy with a beard is I said, hey, I'm Robert Gardner. I'm wild and crazy. I'm wearing a Yoda shirt. But people are actually drawn, digitally, and then it was easier to connect with them in person because they felt like they already knew me a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I had a lady massage therapist reach out to me on Instagram, and she was like, it was super cool to see you on Gary Vee's show, because she's like, males have such a hard time breaking into this industry. And I mean, I don't always have a beard, but most of the time I have a beard. So it's like, and I'm coming in to your house or your apartment, or it's different than someone coming in. I feel like I'm coming in, which either does one of two things. It makes you super uncomfortable for me to come to your place, or it makes you more comfortable because you're in your own environment, which I find people enjoy more, and they don't have to do the travel, which is nice. So an hour massage doesn't turn into 2-hour time limit that you need to block out from your day. It only is 1 hour time limit. So
the whole process, I took this massage box and basically broke it. This is the weirdest thing to me. I'm still teaching within massage community, but I'm the only educator to my knowledge. I'm regularly told what you're doing is not massage. And I go, great. So if what I'm doing isn't massage, I can go teach the yoga community globally. And they're like, oh shit. Because they want to own it at the same time that they're saying I'm not doing massage. So it's like a weird regulatory thing. Because once I started teaching online, that was where things started to get weird. Because I would get questions from various, states and then countries, and it's like regulatory wise, just state to state, there's slight differences in massage regulation and what's allowed, what's within scope of practice. So
which is why I will never call myself a massage therapist.
But I had a conversation with Michael, one of my colleagues here, and he's frustrated because he went to massage school, started working with me almost immediately, kind of changed his game up, and then he's frustrated because he doesn't want to call it massage because consumers don't recognize what he's actually trying to offer. The same sort of
that's the tough part about not being able to, not willingly wanting to call it massage. Is that the second that you change out of that, people don't know it.
And that's where I'm like, take out your phone. Show them. Just be you,
Exactly. So that's really what I'm trying to do with the online. Obviously, that's how I'm going to be able to scale it more. Like I said on Gary Vee's show, I only have a 30-mile radius around Minneapolis that I can work on right now. But that's going to make me maybe 70 to 80K a year if I work my tail off. So in order to scale it, I need to get to more people. And I was fortunate enough to get to a ton of people super fast.
Yeah, the conversation I had with Michael was like he was a little bit, and I take criticism quite well. He was criticizing that I've been teaching massage therapists instead of just teaching the public. And I go, Michael, I just put out video and teach anybody who's listening. The difference is trying to teach the public is like, this is a vast thing. Teaching massage therapists is least more specific. Like I'm not
Yeah, and they have the experience already to be able to pick it up faster.
generally speaking, yeah. And the thing is, like,
you have to break their mindset.
so
which could be even which could be even the tougher part of. It might be easier to teach.
I feel like a cult leader, and I have to take these people and I have to deprogram them.
Yeah,
because they've been trained. They're like, no, what we learned in school. And I'm like, listen, I'm not getting rid of the anatomy and physiology. We are not interacting with tissue and soft tissue the same way. This is clothes on, mat base. It looks like goddamn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I might as well put you in a soft joint lock and go right there and shove my, pull you into your rotator cuff into my knee. It's like, this is not what you learned in school. Like, I'm continuing education. Let's keep going. Let's evolve this.
Let's bring your base and then make you expound on that base.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even have the base. I just knew how well the therapy worked already.
Yep.
That I was doing.
Personally.
That I was having done on me. And I happened to know the body already really well. So I picked it up and the touch was already there.
Yeah.
So.
The practice and working with someone, I run an event in Austin called Thai Massage Jam, which is just a community bodywork event where I would allow anyone to come in and work with me. So like if you had a shoulder problem, I would work on you. I would show you how to work on me, show you how to work on other people. But the most fun is like after you kept doing it week after week after week in Austin, is like new people would come in, I would be busy. And the people that you taught 2 weeks ago are now teaching the new people. And I'm like, yeah, now, because
now they know it better.
Exactly. The body work can be scaled out in the community at large. Like anybody who wanted to actually work on people, help people. And also it was a very safe, public, clothed way of dealing with touch.
Yeah. I have all first time people ask, what do you do? I like explain it to them. And I'm also like, I move you around a lot. So I have everybody keep clothes on. There's no top sheet. I don't even bring a top sheet. If you want to have sweatpants and a sweatshirt on because you're cold, go for it. If you want to put a blanket over yourself, go for it.
Yeah.
But I'm moving limbs around and just being naked and having a cloth over you gets in the way of that.
Have you looked at Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone at all?
I have a little bit, and I almost applied for a job there a while ago when I need some extra income and didn't end up.
Yeah, it's been interesting because massage therapists and their notions of what massage regulation protects. And then, like, I'd been trying to, come on, guys, let's go. Like, there's all this real estate we can
Let's leave the box.
Let's, and they're like, no, my clients want massage. And I'm like, your clients want to get better.
Yeah, your clients want to feel better.
I mean, a massage.
Unless they're just going for a relax, like that. When people are like, oh, you don't like massage therapists. I'm like, no. I never said that. I said I don't like. If they're trying to heal you, I don't necessarily agree with the way they're doing it. But if you're going to a massage therapist and you want it to be relaxing, perfect. Go for it. Yeah. Get one a week, get one a day. If I don't. But if you're going in there with the expectations that they're going to fix your issue, 90% of the time they're not going to fix that issue. It might feel better for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But most of the time they're not going to be actually fixing that issue.
Yeah.
You're going to be going in there once a week to get work done. And then they have you in their grasp.
Yeah, that's a weird. Oh man,
same with chiropractors.
Yeah, it's a strange construct, and chiropractors specifically, chiropractors are taught rebooking very heavily in their curriculum. So it's like, hey, man, you got this neck issue. Some chiropractors, they have no issue being like, yeah, man, you're going to have to come in for at least 100 sessions. I'm going to see at least like a couple times a week for the next,
Well, yeah. How do you think they make money?
And the thing is, it's like I tell clients, listen, I'm a good mechanic. My work is not perfect. I'm still learning. My entire goal is to never see you again. Not that I don't want to work with you, but if I
Yeah.
can help you get better in one session, I will. If I can teach you how to work on yourself, I will. Like I make money because of referrals, not because I kept you coming back again and again and again.
And the slight change that I put on that, because I used to say that, is I don't want to always have to see you for the same issue. So if you're coming in for your neck, we work on it for 4 or 5 issues. We get it to the point where you want it. I give you exercises to keep it at that level. I maybe give you some self-care to keep it at that level. But maybe the next week or 2 weeks later, you're coming in for your low back, or you're coming in for your right knee, or whatever it is. I was always be like, I don't want to have to always see you for the issue X. I want to see you for issue Y or Z or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to, I mean, nobody can go the rest of their life in perfect posture, and nobody is going to be pain-free for their entire life. Maintenance.
I try to get them over the hump and then go,
Yeah.
sure, if you want to come in once a month or whatever for maintenance, it's great. I mean, it's nice. It's good. It's going to probably, if you're an athlete, it's going to increase your performance and mobility.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it necessary? And the necessary part is usually I get people in pain. Those people, those are the ones I resonate with the most. The chronic pain people are my people. They're the ones I work with consistently.
Oh, I love challenges. I had a lady.
Yeah.
I kind of end on this one, but one of my favorites was in the first. I think it was in the first year that I was working on people. This lady came in, super high arches, probably the highest arches I've seen to date. Complaining, probably 60, in her 60s, maybe late 60s, complaining of big toe pain she was like, I couldn't even tell you how long, at least a decade. Every day, just not obviously debilitating pain, but just annoying, constant, all throughout the day. I worked on her one time. She said she didn't have pain for 2 days. I was like, cool. That's more in the last decade than you've had ever. So, and then the next time I saw her every other week. So the second time I saw her, she told me that. Worked on her again. The next time I saw her, the third time, she said, I didn't have pain for a week. The fourth time I saw her, she came back and said, I haven't had pain since the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. She said, I've seen everybody.
Yep.
And nobody could get to the bottom of it. That's when my excitement skyrockets, because if it's a soft tissue issue, then we're good.
Awesome.
That's my bread and butter is people that, hey, I've seen this, it didn't work.
Yep.
I'm stuck. Am I going to have to live with this for the rest of my life? So those are the questions that I enjoy.
So Joshua, listen, it was really great to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
If I can help you with anything in the future, I'm an educator and got tentacles out everywhere. Just let me know if I can help you with anything. It was really great.
Yeah, we might have to talk about that certification process.
Oh, that's a long,
we might have to. We might have to hop on another Zoom call here.
Yeah, we can do that
down the road.
Yeah, just feel free to chat.
That's definitely something I'm considering. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, I can kind of walk you through the sort of framework of what you're dealing with. But otherwise, listen, I don't want to take up more of your time today. Thank you so much. And can you tell them again where they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at Josh Wintz, WINTZ. That's the main spot where I'm posting most of my videos. I also have at wellness_habit. And then you can find me Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook at Wellness Habit or Joshua Wintz. I also have a podcast called the Wellness Habit Podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you guys want to check that out as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
well, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Joshua, and I'll talk to you guys soon. You can find out anything about me. It's robertgardnerwellness.com, including that subscription service. It's free for your first month. You guys have a great day.